Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully the volume on my mic is okay. Hello, hello, gamers. How are you? Hey, and thank you so much for the Prime sub. I really appreciate that. That's really kind. How are you? Hello. Oh boy, Gwydion? Did I get the Dion? Dion? Doing well. Good to hear. Good to hear. Close enough. All right. Well, close enough counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. I don't know about dice rolls or name pronunciations, but we'll get there. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, all. Hope you're all having a great Saturday. We have a long 3-day weekend here in the States, so very excited for that. Weather's beautiful. Nice day to be inside, chat with you folks about virtual dice. So, pulling up my schedule stream here. Perfect. Cool. So, thanks for tuning in. We're going to try these out. Yes, rocking the 3D dice swag. We got these shirts made for Gen Con. They have, you can see, but they kind of got misprinted, but we have like the whole baseball tee look to them with natural 20 on the back. They got printed a little low, so we want to redo it, but maybe we might sell these eventually. Also have the beautiful 3D dice sign over in the corner here, which I'm very happy about. I would turn it on. It actually glows. It's like a big neon sign, but I don't have the ring lights yet, so it kind of it looks like a big entity in the background if I turn it on. But yeah, nonetheless, glad to have you here. Thanks for spending your Saturday morning or evening with me. Very excited to have you all here. Very excited to talk about a lot of the things that we did for 3D Dice in version 16, or version 0.16 rather. Excited to talk about all the things we're going to be doing in 0.17, and wanted to show off some of that stuff. So yeah, thanks. Before we do begin, I just want to pitch a couple things. If you don't know, we do have a Patreon. Very good way to support us. We do have exclusive feature voting for Patreon members. Just this month, like I said, we're trying out this new thing with What's Shaken Live. We opened up a Q&A submission thing so that, Patreon members had exclusive, basically first rights to ask any questions they had about development or feature prioritization or anything we might be, overlooking or anything we could look at. So yeah, if you like what we're doing and, you have the means to, feel free to subscribe to us on Patreon. We greatly always appreciate it. Also unlocks very cool perks for you on 3D Dice. You get lots of new themes that people have created, really cool themes. And then unlock some other features in the rooms, like gravity, I believe is one of them. And you can change the lighting in your rooms, which is really cool. And you can also, if you are someone that creates custom dice, you can also make those dice private. So if you have like an exclusive game, you want to share dice and no one else can get them but your players, we do that. Or if you have like your own Patreon and you want to give away dice to your Patreon people, subscribing to our Patreon is a great way to make your dice private so no one else can use them. We're on Blue Sky. We had a friend, Tavernaut, give us a code for Blue Sky, so shout out to Tavernaut. So yeah, feel free to follow us here. It seems cool. It looks exactly like what once was Twitter. Not really sure what X is, but it will forever be Twitter in my head. But yeah, Blue Sky. Follow us there. We are 3D Dice over on there, dddice. Speaking of the aforementioned X Twitter, we love it if you'd throw us a follow there. Always good to boost our social profiles. So if you're on Twitter, look us up, 3D dddice_app. We have a YouTube channel, if you're not familiar with that. We're going to be posting this VOD there. Lots of tutorials on how to connect all the different tools, 15 integrations and growing. We don't have videos for all of them, but we have videos for the major ones. So very happy about that. Yeah, and Celeste, our co-founder here, just did live plays of The Mountain Witch, so you can tune into those. Those were a lot of fun. Lots of great people and streamers that we're friends with tuned in for that and played with her, so that was really nice. If you're on Reddit, trying to grow our subreddit, 3D Dice, r3D Dice. I'm on Reddit. I'm a huge Redditor. You'll probably see me floating around. I'm _nullfish. I'm always on the VTT subreddits and the D&D and whatever happened to D&D memes. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, please join our subreddit. Would love to have more people contribute there. I check it frequently, even though it's me and my robot that post here for right now. Yeah, and I think those are the big ones. So let's talk about... Oh, and actually, you know what? One more. Sorry, one thing I'm leaving out. Our Discord. Hopefully you can see this. Join our Discord. Love hearing from people. Love chatting with people. Love hearing what people, want to see out of 3D Dice. We have this feature request forum here that we check all the time. You could see we've even released a bunch of these new ones. I can't see. Oh, here's all the released ones. Very good. So you can see all the things that people have requested and we've gone and released, we've implemented. I always get really, really excited when I see people upvote a feature, and it gives us a lot of motivation to say like, okay, this is probably the new thing we're going to be working on. So your opinions and your thoughts here strongly matter. Give an upvote to something you think looks cool. Post something if you don't see it. Likewise, for any of these integrations, we also have integration requests. So if you're using a tool and we're not yet in there, would love to hear about it. We probably just overlooked it, or we're probably in discussions with devs. So really, really want to integrate with more and more tools. I see people are rolling. Very nice. Appreciate that. Oh, yes, upcoming events. So let's talk about events. October 7th, Celeste is going to be guest streaming on Goblin Tuesday. If you haven't already on Twitch, Goblin Tuesday, throw them a follow, throw them a subscribe if you can. They're awesome. They're going to be playing Mouse Guard, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to tune in for that. And September, oh, I got to pull up my calendar. I believe it's the 22nd. We haven't added it to Discord yet, but September 22nd at 2 p.m. We're trying out this new thing we're calling Ready, Set, Roll. It's I am pitching it like it is Hot Ones for tabletop games. So we are looking for creators and other people in the tabletop space. We're going to be interviewing them, finding out about, any upcoming releases, and then we're going to play some one-shots with people. So on the 22nd, we're going to be talking with Parable Games. They have a new game coming out called Don't Play This Game. I believe that's what it's called, if I didn't get that wrong. 1 second, let me open up my little tabs here. But they are the company, or they are the publisher who made Shiver, the award-winning Shiver. So we're going to be interviewing them and playing their brand new game, Don't Play This Game. Kind of a horror one-person RPG that you pass along to other people. Very cool mechanics going on in that one. Did they make 10 Candles? They might have. Maybe not the same. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know Shiver is their really big one. That's the one that they've won a lot of award for. Their horror RPG. Oh, you were there for a live play of Paracle. That's awesome. Glad you liked it. I'm really happy. Cool. So we will be adding that to the Discord again. If you join our Discord, we have all the events posted there. So would love to see you guys give it an interest, so we know people are interested in these things. And hope to do more of the Ready Set Roll stuff in the future. Like I said, if you happen to be a RPG creator, reach out to us. Looking for guests. We're doing bookings for January and forward, looking out to fill out a full year. So feel free to reach out, or if you know someone that would be a good fit for us, maybe give a recommendation to us. We'd love to reach out to them. Cool. I am going to close Discord, and hopefully I don't close my browser because I had a bunch of tabs open I wanted to talk about. Perfect. Cool. Let's talk about the new features. I'm going to pull up Twitch chat one more time. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I know you guys can't see what I'm doing here, but I am going to be smart about how I am approaching things, and I am going to put my schedule and Twitch chat up. Cool. Let's talk about features. So one of the things that we have released in 0.16, and I sincerely appreciate all the people that did recommend this, was the ability to move dice. So in the settings menu, we have added this new setting, allow players to move dice, which will allow you to pick up a die and drop it. Seems like a very simple feature, but what I think is really nice about this is that all your connected players, so anyone from their phone, anyone on different browsers, anyone in, say, using Owlbear or Foundry, they're all going to see the dice move. And this was for direct support of Tunnels and Trolls. So we're really excited by that. I know Tunnels and Trolls, one of the big things is rolling a metric ton of dice. That is something we are working on. I can't wait to talk about that for 0.17 features. So stay tuned. But yeah, moving dice, big thing. I could probably actually show you folks if I pulled up a new... Oh, it's going to do this thing to me. Wait, hold on. I know how to fix this. Boop. And boop. Nice. Oh, now you're seeing my other thing. There. Did I do it? Oh, is my computer freezing? You probably see what I'm seeing, don't you? There we go. Okay. Cool. I'm going to connect as a guest user. It's going to roll all my dice here. And so now I'm going to move this die, and you can see it's moving across both screens, which is really fun. And something that's unique is that, 3dddice, we do support all different screen sizes. So it's kind of hard for us to, say like, okay, like this is over here for this screen, but it's over somewhere else for another screen. So what we do is we do like this percentage-based calculation. So you can see like if I move it down here, like it's a pretty close approximation to say like, okay, it's all the way on the left of my screen, it's all the way on the right of my screen. So, but you can see live update moves, very useful for games like Tunnels and Trolls or for any other kind of mechanical dice mechanisms you can think of. So thank you to all the users who suggested that. We're very excited by that feature. I met the guys behind Parable Games last weekend at Tabletop Scotland. Oh, very cool. That's really awesome. I didn't know. Are you, Honda? Are you actually in Scotland? It's quite a place. I've yet to go there. It's on my list of places. And I hear Tabletop Scotland is actually amazing too. I hear it's a fun time. Also, welcome to the channel. Cool. Speaking of new features rather. In addition to moving dice, we also now have abilities to reroll, explode, and drop just by simply clicking. So again, in the settings menu, we have default click behavior. You can reroll the die on a click or a tap. You could explode the die on a reroll or a tap, drop a die on a reroll or drop a die on a tap, or you could do nothing. But if we choose reroll, we'll see, and I'm just going to clear this just for sanity purposes here. Let's roll 2d20. You can see that 15 in the corner. If I re-roll one of them, right, it picks up the die and it re-rolls. It dropped the 1, and now we're at 20, right? So better roll than the first time. We also could change that to any of the others, but make it easy. We also added this right-click menu. Thank you for all that suggested that as well. So now you can explode these die if you want. So exploding will do the same thing. It will pick it up, but instead of dropping the die down here, you'll see it actually adds it. So you can continue exploding die just as you would at a real table. So very nifty feature. In addition, you can also drop, right? So dropping does exactly what you expect, just gets rid of the die, drops the value from your final calculation. So hopefully all these mechanics are really useful for your games. We're looking forward to bringing these to all of our extensions. Right now, this is a 3dddice interface, I think, exclusive. We haven't yet ported this to our extensions. Traditionally, our extensions have sort of lagged behind features of the 3dddice interface, and that's sort of on purpose because we want to make sure we get it right before we go and, port it to our extensions. A lot of people use our extensions and depend on our extensions and want to make sure it works right here. It's a lot easier for us to ship an update to our website and, make a quick fix in 5 minutes than it is to, update a complete module. So thanks for your patience while we get those updated. I hope you're really excited by them. And if there's any, tool you're using, do let us know and we will prioritize it. More new settings. We added a bunch of new settings. One thing I'm particularly really excited about, and this has been on our backlog forever. I think this was one of our highest rated features before we shipped it, or feature requests before we shipped it, defaulting the GM's tray to a player's dice tray. So for a long time, you'll probably have noticed if you're a avid user of 3ddice that your dice tray at the bottom, no matter what room you joined, was always the same. So if you had this dice tray in this room and you joined a different room, your dice tray would remain the same so long as you were in the same browser. Worse yet, if you joined from an integration, say like Owlbear integration, and you signed into your account and you joined a room, your dice tray would just not really exist. So we weren't saving dice trays to rooms in any particular way. They were just sort of saved in your browser. If you changed browsers, they'd go away as well. So we've changed that. So now your dice tray does sync with your room. So you could see I have this dice tray in this room, right? And we're in the game moving dice. If I go and I change my room to say a deadly pass, right? You'll see that my dice tray has updated to something else. So very useful. All of your players can now customize their dice tray per room. So if you're playing Fate versus Star Wars versus D&D versus Pathfinder or whatever have you, you can now customize your dice tray per participant and per room. And like I said, better yet, this setting here, if you enable this, if you're the GM and you're, say, setting up a Star Wars game, you could set your dice tray as all the Star Wars dice, click this setting, and then any player that joins will then get the Star Wars dice for free. It'll be added to their dice box. They can use it in other games should they want to. It's a really nice feature and a new way of sharing dice that you own. Of course, this is limited. I think we have that as a discretionary warning here. It is only available to publicly available dice. So if your GM does have private dice or dice, say, in the future that have been purchased and they don't allow sharing, sharing is something we might have a setting for purchased dice. Those obviously won't be added. But for the most part, I mean, out of the 7,600 or so themes we have on 3D Dice, like 99% of them should be publicly available to you. So yeah, what other new settings did we add? We added this extra small dice setting. So now you can roll teeny tiny little dice. They're so cute and tiny. Let me pick a theme. I like this theme. I actually just added this theme. So you can see all the tiny little dice. I guess this one was also an extra small dice. But you can see in comparison to, let's change that to small. Yeah, I guess that was small. Okay, well, either way. We did add a new extra small setting, so hopefully that does help with games, like I said, like Tunnels and Trolls, where you're rolling a metric ton of dice. And those, I think, are all the new settings we added on top of, allowing players to update rolls. So when you click a roll and you could re-roll it or drop it or explode it, we have this new setting here now where if you're playing a game where, you're all collecting dice and you're trying to mess with each other, you can allow your players to actually click your dice that you rolled and drop them or re-roll them or explode them. So, if a game you're playing has a mechanic such as that, we do have a setting for it now. Very useful. And yeah, I think that's all the new settings we've introduced. So, like I said, all of these requests have been from our users in our Discord. Do make sure if you see something that we could definitely improve on, leave a comment. We'd love to hear. Cool. Something else we've added, and this is useful for streamers. If you go to our documentation site and go to streaming mode, in addition to telling you how to set up streaming mode, we have this new thing with using multiple streaming modes. So in the game where you could see I was here, if I were to click copy and copy the stream room, right, in OBS, I could paste that stream room as a browser source. Where am I here? I could paste that source as a browser source. I could then add a query parameter on top of that into the browser source URL and filter it only by players. This means that you could set up multiple browser sources that roll dice specific to a certain player. And where that's useful is if you're setting up a stream that has different dice trays, so each player has a dice tray that's like in the corner of their screen, you could set it up so that only their dice roll in there. Or if you the GM are playing a big bad end guy, right, you can have just one thing in the middle that filters just by like your character. So super useful if you're looking to customize your screen just a little bit more. And we do have instructions, like I said, on how to acquire certain information. And, maybe if you're not technically savvy, this could be a little much. So always looking to improve this. But for right now, it is a ability you can do. So hopefully if you do stream, you find it useful. Snap, that is amazing. Love it. I love it. Yeah. No, I thought this was a really cool thing. I'm really excited by this. And actually for our upcoming live streams, I believe we're going to be using this too. New updates. Stream Deck. Is this the stream? This is Stream Deck. Yeah. Okay. So if you have a Stream Deck and you're a streamer, we did update the Stream Deck plugin we have, or extension. I forget what they call them. Plugins. There you go. So now you can add a label to your rolls. Before you were just able to add a theme and a die type. So you could roll a D20 and the bees theme or whichever theme you wanted. Now you can add a label to that. Very simple but small addition, but I think goes a long way. So you could say now for a certain button does your axe swing and another button does your magic missile. It'll actually label that appropriately. And so if you're using other integrations like Foundry or browser extension, for Roll20 or D&D Beyond, you'll actually see the proper label show up if you're using it from the Stream Deck. So we're excited about that. Speaking of browser extensions, also updated this. Before, it's a small but kind of crucial update, and this it targets Roll20 specifically. If you use our browser extension and you're using Roll20, before this update, if you were the one that had the extension installed and nobody else did, you wouldn't see those dice rolls. Like basically, if you used our interface and you were rolling a die and no one else had the extension, they wouldn't see the actual roll show up in chat, which was a problem, right? So you would have to have all your players install the extension, and if they didn't want to see the 3D dice, they'd have to disable the 3D dice just so you could see the chat message. We acknowledged that was kind of annoying. So, new update, it actually does post the chat message legitimately to Roll20 now. So if you are the only one with the extension and you want to use your themes and nobody else has the extension, at least everybody will see the chat message, even if they don't see the 3D dice. So good update there. Be sure you update your Chrome and Firefox extensions. That's the new update for that. And then finally, if you look actually at our channel, in the About section, you'll probably see our Twitch extension where you can spend bits to roll die. Now, I'm not encouraging you to spend your bits right now. That's not my goal. But my goal is to tell you that if, again, you're a streamer, our 3D Dice extension lets you customize different die. So you can see I can configure this, and it's going to load an interface. And you can see I have all these different die here, and I can browse all the themes I have, and I can drag them in, and I could say, okay, this one's, 40 bits, this one's a bit, this one's 10 bits. And you could start monetizing people interacting with your stream. I think this is really cool for live play sessions where your chat can inspire charisma points or can deduct, say, like a spell slot, kind of adds a unique randomness to it. We've also seen a lot of VTubers using this, which I think is a fun and interesting way to utilize the 3D Dice extension. So dice, useful for more than just RPGs. See if you can find a cool use for it. We do have our Twitch extension available for use now. We also just got affiliate on Twitch. So we are experimenting. You can't do it yet, but we are looking to implement channel points soon. So if your stream does use channel points, you'll be able to exchange channel points to roll die as well of your choosing. Very excited for that. Cool. So, and then finally, that brings us to point 17. So I'm going to go to our home page, and I'm going to scroll all the way down, and I'm going to click on the build number. Point 16, what was our goal? Point 16, our goal was to take all the feedback that you folks recommended and actually get to implementing it. We spent a lot of time on back-end infrastructure work in like the previous versions, like 14 and 15. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff for different VTTs and integrations that were requesting different features. So we were busy planning that while also still delivering new features, but we sort of had user feedback take a backseat for, just a couple days or a couple weeks. So 16 was really focused on just going through the Discord backlog and making sure that we addressed a lot of the high priority items. So hopefully you did see that. Hopefully if you requested something and you were like, oh, these people, the 3D Dice devs, they're ignoring me. We weren't. Promise you it was nagging at us every single day we opened up Discord. We got it done. So the moving die, the extra small die, the clicking to re-roll and explode and drop. Again, I've said it a million times, but thank you for recommending all those features. We had a super fun time implementing and watching you folks use them. So yeah, that was point 16. We wanted to make sure that we addressed as much feedback as we could. Point 17, we are going to be taking just a little bit of a slowdown, but it's a slowdown to speed up, I'll say. And I mean that quite literally, because we plan on focusing on less, I guess, flashy features, you could call it. And we're going to start focusing on more performance related features. So you'll probably have noticed that when I was rolling, and I have OBS pulled up, and forgive me, but this is the first time I'm like using OBS on stream here. But things can, lag out if you're rolling a ton of die. And I've mentioned tunnels and trolls a couple times and rolling a ton of die. we really want to get it to a point where if you roll 100 3D die, like we don't want it to take a lag hit, right? We want that to be just performant. And if you just were at a physical table and you took a tray and just threw it on the table, right? Like we want it to basically recreate that. We want it to be like super fun and exciting. And we want people to be like, oh my God, like, so that's our plan. We're going to be doing a lot of engine performance features and upgrades there. We're also going to be focusing on extensions and the onboarding of extensions. We've heard a lot of feedback about the Owlbear one in particular, that it could be a little difficult to set up. I definitely have run into that a couple times myself. You have to click login, and if you're already logged in, then you got to log out, you got to log back in, and there's a sort of dance we have to do. And the reason for that is not because, we programmed it bad or anything. It's iframes, and I don't know if anyone's web developer, but there's a whole thing with like the way that the extension is built that because of security reasons, it's hard to share authentication across things, and we're doing this weird dance. Anyway, all of this to say that we are going to be prioritizing the onboarding of that extension a lot more, and it's going to be a lot easier. If you've ever set up like Apple TV or Fubo TV or HBO or any of those things where you open up the TV app and it says, type in this code, and it gives you like a 6-digit code, like we're going to be doing that basically. And hopefully that makes it way easier to get started with 3dddice. So you'll open up the 3dddice extension. It'll say, hey, type in this code to sync your account. You type in the code, and then that's it. Your account will be completely synced, and you'll get all the cool features that I just showed where you have it in your dice. You have all the dice in your dice tray. You could move your die. You could do all that stuff. Should be way easier. We're going to be doing that for the browser extension as well. The browser extension, or the UI, has gotten a little out of date. So we plan on updating that UI just a bit to make it a little bit easier to get started on different platforms, such as the Roll20 or D&D Beyond, or any of the other ones we support via a browser extension. So yeah, V17, slowing down on features, but speeding up performance and speeding up the time, speeding up the time it takes to get started with any of our integrations. So that's our goal. Have people move quicker and roll dice quicker, because there's nothing worse than game day and something is slow or laggy, or you have to wait for something to happen. Although it is fun to be in suspense about a dice roll, it's just not fun when it's our fault. So definitely are looking to fix things like that. So excited you guys are talking with Alchemy. I know no ETA yet, but still excited. Love that you're focused on performance. Yeah, no, we're excited about the whole performance thing. We know that's something that we definitely can improve on. We spent a lot of time adding features, and we know that's something that kind of took the back burner for a minute or two. And in terms of Alchemy, actually really excited about this. We spoke with the Alchemy devs a couple weeks ago. They're awesome. Their tool is awesome. We really love what they're doing. I'm a theater of the mind person myself. I'm not really big into like minis on a table or, any of that type of stuff. I mean, it's good, right? Don't get me wrong. There's time and place for it, but I do love the whole theater of the mind element of things, and I think their tool really captures that well. We're excited to be integrating with them. We're also talking to a couple other VTTs, though no promises. It seemed like they're very excited, but Questline, I actually just spoke with them this morning. He's also awesome. They're a really cool product, focused a lot on like building different mechanics and the simplification of like how those mechanics work in a VTT. So we're really excited by that, if we can get that extension going. And then of course Tabletop, which is I think it's in alpha. They're integrating with 3dddice as well. And it's always awesome when we could get a new integration, right? Our whole goal is that, we were at Gen Con recently and we were walking around, and it really like hit us that, it's so cool to be in person and take your dice bag and go to a table and drop your dice and roll that big chunky D20, or, take a fistful of die and roll it and show off all the stuff you're doing. And then you could go to a different table and you could take those same dice with you, right? Like those are yours, right? They're your math rocks. They're your precious beings, right? Like nothing like that exists virtually. And that's why we're really excited by every integration, is that we are trying to be that virtually, right? Like your GM for a game is going to use this tool. Your GM for another game is going to use this tool. And no tool I can say is really better than another. They all serve different groups and they all serve different purposes. And I think that's awesome. Right? We want to be the virtual dice component to all those, where you could say, look what I've collected, look what I've made, look what my friend made. look what I found, right? And be able to roll that across any game or any platform. So super excited by that. Really hyped about the Alchemy integration and the Questline integration. We'll keep you in the loop about timelines. Again, nothing promised yet. Just super excited on both sides of the table there. Please keep doing what you're doing. I know of anyone else doing what you guys do, and you guys rock. Thank you. Really appreciate that. I sincerely appreciate that. It does mean a lot. I mean, we wouldn't be here without a community, right? So we super appreciate you folks too. That's why I keep hyping up the Discord and hyping up all our social channels. Spread the word, tell your friends, tell us what you want. We want to keep making this better. And like I said, we want to be like the best dice roller we can be. And with that, that was my whole agenda. Hopefully that wasn't too boring for you folks. I had a lot of fun talking about a lot of the features. I wanted to do a Patreon Q&A. No questions this month. It was our first month to be fair, so I wasn't expecting any. But if anyone in chat has questions for us, or if you're curious about anything, I'm an open book. I was planning on doing this for another 15-20 minutes, so please feel free to ask. We'd love to talk about any of the stuff we're working on or clarify anything I might have, breezed through. Cool, that was great. Do you guys plan on more detailed videos on dice customization? Yeah, that's a great suggestion. I had no plans until you mentioned it. I know Celeste might. I don't want to promise her schedule. I know she's always interested in that type of stuff. She does have a PhD in computer vision and 3D graphics and all that stuff. So I think she would love to do it. I am not an artist. I am a terrible artist, which is why every morning I go into the admin and I look at our queue of all the stuff people have made. And, that's when in the Discord you see all those new dice releases. That's us going through and saying, oh, we love this one. We love this one. Truly, it's insane what people create. I wish I had half a creative bone in my body. I do servers and I do code. So, but yeah, I can't see us not doing it. It would be a really cool thing. We have a couple YouTube videos on it where Celeste has done dice customization as well. If you go to our YouTube, right, she's done a couple live streams creating different dice, and you can see all the different mapping she's done and all the color creation she's done. Doesn't have to be as complicated as the one that we do on the live streams. Of course, if you're super artistically handy and 3D, awesome. You could do anything with 3D dice in 3D. Lots of cool, different shiny effects and different particle systems and stuff like that. Or you could just use our editor. I use our editor all the time because, like I said, I don't have a creative bone in my body. But you could do a lot with the editor, and there's so much customization you can do with the editor. I DM with her. She helped ensure my stream was set up well. Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, she's awesome. I'm really glad to be part of this endeavor with her. It's definitely, it would be a lot to take on by one person. So having both of us here to be able to, we each have our own specialties. It's a blessing. Trying to think what else. If you guys have live streams, I'd be happy to join. I'm looking to get into playing more tabletop games. I've spent a long hiatus not playing. As you see behind me here, I have someone commissioned, a friend of mine commissioned one of my first player characters. I played with them, which I basically just took every name for a gnome you could. D&D lists all the different recommended names, and I just stringed them all together into one giant name. But you could call me Jim. So I was Gimbal something or another. But yeah, I was Jim. So behind me is my paladin, Jim. But yeah, looking to play more games. So if anyone has live streams and, would like me on, I am open. My DMs are open. What else? Any other questions you folks have? I super appreciate everyone tuning in today. Like I said, hopefully my stream setup was good today. New microphone. I'm getting ring lights. Looking forward to doing more of these. Feel like you're not dominating chat. Not at all. It's interesting being a streamer. I definitely have an appreciation for people that do this full time. It's not easy. Stream was great and audio great. Fantastic. That's all I can hope for. I really appreciate that. Well, if no one else has questions, this has been just about 45 minutes here. And man, I could do this all day. I super appreciate you folks being here. I super appreciate talking about all the different features we have. Once again, Patreon, if for exclusive access to different features in 3D Dice, if you have the means to, love it. Blue Sky, Twitter, YouTube, Reddit. Please go subscribe, follow. Helps a ton. We're trying to spread the word about 3D Dice more and more. And every follow, every mention helps tremendously. So no too little you can do. We appreciate it all the support. And thanks again for being here. Super appreciate it. Had a fun time. We'll probably call it there. Video will be on YouTube later. And everyone enjoy their Saturday, or if you're in a different time zone, I think it will be approaching Sunday too. And yeah, have a great weekend. You're a Patreon and mentioned on this. Hey, thank you so much. That means, it truly means the world. It really does help. We're just at a point where our server costs are just about break even, which is awesome. We're not looking to be like complete, millionaires off this project. We just want to build a really cool tool, and we just want to build something that people really, really enjoy using. So it's super, super appreciated. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. And yeah, we will chat with you soon. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And we'll chat with you later. Happy rolling.